This lesson, I'm going to walk you through exploring your MT4. So this is a MetaTrader 4 navigation. I'm going to show you from beginning till the end some of the things you need to know about your MetaTrader 4 platform. While showing you all the basics you need to know about this MetaTrader 4, you will need to understand that this MetaTrader 4 trading platform is free, and that is what we use in trading the forex market as well as other financial products. So, if you have a broker, you can go to your broker's website to download MetaTrader 4. But if you do not have a broker, I'm also going to show you where and how you can download this MetaTrader 4 trading platform. First of all, in order to get the MetaTrader 4 platform, you will need to go to the website metatrader4.com in order to download one for yourself. Metatrader4.com. So this happens to be the website to download your MetaTrader. Here you will see MetaTrader 5 and then MetaTrader 4. We are specifically talking about MetaTrader 4. So here you can have many options to download, but for the purpose of this lesson, we are downloading that for Windows. It is free, so you have to click in order to download this. You can see how it is downloaded to your system. You go and show in folder and see where this is downloaded. This is the MetaTrader 4 setup. So the next thing you'll do is to double click on the downloaded exe file of this MT4. So if this happens on your system, you have to click on install anyway for you to run the MetaTrader 4 application. So when this box appears, all you have to do is a MetaTrader 4 client's terminal. You have to click on next, and then you will wait until gradually it installs the MetaTrader 4 on your computer. So when it is completely installed, you can see congratulations, we are waiting for you. So you click on finish and you may see all of these pop up, but you do not have any business with this for now. So you have to close this all down, and then you have to go to your desktop. Go to your desktop, you will see the shortcut that is created, which is MetaTrader 4. And so you have to double click in order to run your MetaTrader 4. When this opens, this is exactly how you will see it in your desktop. This is how it appears. So on getting to this place in some MetaTrader 4, you will see a dialog box to open an account by default that appears on the screen. But currently, we are going to go through the process of opening an account with this MT4 downloaded in our computer. And so to that, what we'll have to do is to go to File, and then we'll go to Open an Account. And then you see by default, this comes out. Then you have to click on Next for you to see open a demo account to trade virtual money without risk. A demo account allows you to learn trading on stock exchanges and test your strategies. While doing that, you do not risk anything as you use pure virtual money. Then this is to open a real account for live trading. And then this is to connect with an existing trade account with your login and password. But in this, we want to open a demo account. And so you click on next. Then this is some information about yourself that you will need to fill. So after filling the information required, then you have to click on agree and then on next. You can see that hush sound that just took place. That is to show you that you've created your account, and then to this is a deposit of 10,000 US dollars in this very demo account. So this happens to be your login, and then this is a password generated for you to log in, for you to be able to trade in your account. Then this is also the investor's password, read only password. This is the one you can give out to anybody for the person to be able to see what you are doing. The person can see your trades but cannot be able to manipulate whatever you do. It's just read only. That's what the person can only to see and not be able to do anything. That's the investor password. It can be given out. But to this, you are using it to trade in your uh, Metatrader 4 or in your account. So after that, you click on finish. And
Incoming mail.
this happens to be your Metatrader platform. So after that, what I'm going to do now is to close down everything on the charts, leaving a blank slate for us to start right from the beginning. Want to close down everything for us to have this very blank shape. So we want to begin to do something by adding some things to chart. So now we want to begin by adding to charts. Here you can see create a new chart. On clicking here, you can see different currency pairs: Euro USD, GBP, USD, CHF, USD JPY, and all the rest. And if you also go here, you can see several orders. So first of all, we want to add the charts, and so click on Euro USD, and that is exactly how you see it appear on charts. There is no indicator, no moving averages as an indicator. There is no expert advisor or whatever. So this is how it appears plain as default. So as we can see here, the default pattern is the candlestick chart, the default chart. Apart from candlestick chart, we also have the bar chart, and we also have the line chart. But because of price interpretation, we best or price is best interpreted with the use of bar charts. That is what we have here. Here, the MetaTrader by default opens with 1 hour time frame, and if you can see on chart here, and these terminals, there is no time frame available. So what you'll do is to go to View and then go to Toolbars. Then you can click on Time Frames. You can see the time frames has now appeared. So here you can now change the time frames. You can see D1, weekly, monthly, H1, M30, 15, 5, and 1 minute time frame. But we will concentrate on a 1 minute chart or time frame. Apart from this, you can also add other charts to the background. For example, you can also go back to add or create a new chart. On clicking there, you can also add that of GBP USD. And then if you click also, you can also add USD CHF, just like that. You can also add other ones like USD JPY. So as you can see below here, you can see different currency pairs added. So you can switch in between them in order for you to choose the one you want to analyze or trade on. So what you'll do is to maximize the window for you to see a better view of the chart. And in that, you can still switch to the different charts that you opened. And if you watch very well, they are all in H1 time frame, but they can maintain the time frame at which you left them. This is H1, just like that. This is H1. If you double click, it can maximize as well. So this can remain in M15 depending on the time frame you left it at. That is where it remains. This is H1, this is H4 time frames, and you can switch between time frames. You can open as many as just below here, and then for easy accessibility in opening them all. There is another thing I would like to show you, and that is okay. We'll go to view, and that is market watch. So when you click on market watch, then you will see different currency pairs that are listed here. You will also see the broker's time. Here, the broker's time is 23:01 p.m. But currently, you will not see it on my desktop. It is 22:01. So it's 1 hour difference. So we cannot change this. We cannot manipulate this. It remains, which is the time that is being fed from different brokers. This happens to be the only place we can find the broker's time, and your current time or your local time must not and may never be the same with your broker's time. So here we can also add some charts. This is Euro, GBP, USD. Then we can also like drag and drop onto the chart. Sorry, you're not. We can drag and drop. Okay, you see it changes this particular chart from being GBP USD to USD SEC. The same thing if you also drag and drop. Let us drag the Euro USD and drop. You see it change this particular tab to AUD USD. But what else can we do? If you double click on this, you can see it's minimized. So this happens to be the blank plane, very plain. So if you happen to drag like USD card to this very place, you see a new chart, a new tab added. But if you add when it is maximized, when you double click, it is maximized. You can see it is by way of changing that particular chart. But when it is minimized, on this very blank page, you can drag and drop, creating a new chart. So let us work with this AUD USD. So let us get this maximized. So while we have these few currency pairs listed here, I'm also going to show you one thing, and that is right clicking on anywhere on this markets watch window and go to show all. You go to show all, you see that there are many other pairs as well as currencies that are enlisted here, depending on the one that your broker feeds you. You see many symbols that appear here, and so you can always uh, probably minimize and add as many as you want to your chart. So there are many of them, but you do not have to trade all of them. You have to make some few choices and have those you watch so that whenever your confluence surfaces, then you take your trade. So you can just double click any of this for us to have a full chart. Then here you can also adjust this very window back and forth, and also adjust other ones like this particular one, like an Excel sheet, and adjust back and forth. So we do not want this to remain here, so we can simply close this market watch window to have a full chart. Remember, on these very tabs, you can also make adjustments by dragging from one tab to the other by making adjustments. You can drag this to the very first, and it remains there. You can drag this to the very last. So there are many adjustments that you can make here. Then, if you watch closely on the charts, you can see that even here on this very tab, you can click and reposition it from one place to another. And from this very time frame, you can also click and drag reposition it to another, making us to have a clearer view of this very chart, making it very simple and orderly. Now, if we watch closely, we'll see that there are many things we can do here. For example, we can minimize the charts. We can also maximize the chart as much as we can. Here we are going to leave it at this. Okay. And for us to be able to customize these very charts, normally with this selection cursor, you can drag uh, back and forth your chart. But anywhere on the charts, we can right click, and on right clicking, you will see properties. So on these properties is where you can make some customizations on your charts to look as better as the way you'll want it. So I'm clicking on properties. You see these properties windows pop up. So here we on under the common, we are already on candlestick, and here we need not to change anything, but I'm going to the next, which is show ticker, show OHLC, that is open, high, low, close. If you want to show the open, high, low, close, then if we click this, we'll see how it appeared on the preview pane. This is open, high, low, and close. If you want it, then you can apply it to chart. If you uncheck it, you see it disappear on the preview. Then show quick trading buttons. Show quick trading buttons. That is the one that you see at this very left hand side. Okay, let us see how it looks like when we click the OK. It's supposed to apply here for a sell and a buy. But let us concentrate on the properties. Remember, you are on show. We are not showing quick trading buttons. It does not appear. Show bid price, show ask price, show last price button, show period separator, show grid. We may want to eliminate this grid on the chart, and so for us to do that, you have to uncheck this show grid, and you see it disappear on the chart. Now it looks very clean and nicer. Well, apart from this, there are many other things that we can also do. We're clicking on properties, but this time we want to go to colors. We want to add light to our chart. The background is black. We'll leave it at black, and the foreground is white. The foreground are these very price levels that you can see on chart, as well as these other plain windows. Now the grid is lightly gray. We have removed the grid or the bar up. Let us see how it looks like. For the bar up, we want to have it at okay. Let us use a dark turquoise. Dark turquoise. See how it changes here. I prefer the use of this dark turquoise. Then for bar down, I like the use of orange. Oh, sorry, tomato. Like the use of tomato, you can see how it changes on the preview pane. Whatever you do here, that is how it look like when you click the OK button. Now, for the bull candle is the fill. To fill this very bull candle, this very bar up rather. The bull candle is black. You have to select this and make it still dark turquoise. You see, get it filled. Then on the beer candle, you maintain a tomato. On this, you see how it looks like here on chart. So the line charts, volumes, bid price, ask price, last price, stop levels. We do not have to change anything else here. But let us click on OK. You see how our price looks like now, how the chart looks like. It looks better. So we are advancing and want to make our charts look better. We do not need any form of indicators and anything for now. Okay, look at this below. This shows a volume. So we can go same place, go to properties, and then I go to show. This time we are going to uncheck this and it disappears. Okay, yes, it looks better off now. There are many other things I can show you. For example, we talked about the different time frames, and then now we want to talk about this very. This is a shift end of the chart from right border. So when you click on this shift end of the chart, you see how the chart shifts to the left hand side. So let us see how it goes. So clicking, it comes to the left hand side. And then with this button, you can also drag to adjust the position of this or where you want it to get to. Mm. So if we happen to click on this very shift end of chart again, you see it get back to where the charge ended. And if we happen to click it again, you will see it come to where we shifted or where we left it at the very center of the screen. So we can drag it anywhere to the right or to the center of the screen. So apart from this, we also have auto scroll. While this while it is unchecked, you will see so on this very next, which is scroll the chart to the end on tick incoming, which simply means when this is checked and you want to maybe check the history behind, whenever any tick comes in, you will see uh, the chart will have to shift to the end every time. It have to shift to the end. Whenever you want to scroll behind to check what has happened in the history, whenever a tick comes in, as the name implies, scroll the chart to the end on tick incoming. On any tick incoming, you see the chart will just scroll to the end this way. So I have to scroll to the end. So, but whenever you uncheck it, then you can freely scroll to see price history without any incoming tick bouncing it back to the current price, moving back and forth. So there are many other things. You may also have noticed that whenever we are scrolling back or forth, you see how chart fills in the whole screen. This happens to be the high of the whole period, and this is the low for this one that is showed on screen. And if you keep on scrolling, you see that it maintains the high and get itself adjusted from the high to the low. So in order to fill the screen for a better view, this is the high and this is the low, just like that. That is how it is programmed to work. So it's a fine and perfect one. While there are many other tools, I will want to start with the trend line, which is what is mostly it is commonly used by most traders. So in drawing trend line, on clicking the trend line, you have to click and hold. Rather, you click and hold, drag. Can drag it back and forth. That is and these three white dotted spots are the nodes. So it is at the node if you happen to click and hold on one end of the node. You have to drag the trend line from one end to another, just like this. You drag the trend line and drag it back and forth. But if you want to move it entirely, then you click from the center to move it entirely. And if you also watch closely, there are many traders who will want to not want to be, dragging the end of the trend. So what they'll have to do for the purpose of adjustment of trend lines, you have to click on the node, your left click or right click rather, and go to properties. And go to properties, you can go to parameters, and then here you can check the ray for right or for the left. But on this, want to check to the right. Hmm? So or you can also change the parameters like the day and the time and also the values. But for the purpose of this array, we can check it and then click OK. Turns into the left. Is it to the left actually? Let us see. Okay, to the right because we adjusted we turned the trend line upside down. Okay, let us try to delete this and draw another trend line. So if you have it, you can see from this end, you can see how it projected to the right. And that is how it continues eternally, indefinitely. And so there are many other things on this also. Remember that when we double click on the trend line, you see these nodes appear. That is when you can manipulate or make changes to the trend line. But whenever you double click it and it disappears, then you cannot make any further changes to the trend line. So as we double click, the node appears. These are three lines. We can right click and then make further changes to our trend line. For example, we can change the color of the trend line and make it to be white. Mm? Then we can also uh, change it to be a dotted line. It becomes a dotted trend line. Now we can also make it to be thicker. And when it is thicker, you see it appears like this. Whenever it is thicker, you can no longer make it a dotted line. It's only when you select the tiniest that is when you can have these other options. You get that? All right. This is for the trend line. Is there any other thing we want to consider apart from this? Yes, we can also tick in order to deselect. So know the particular time frame you want this trend line to appear. Let us say you want it to appear in all time frames, but not in H1. Okay, let us go there. Not in H1. This is hour. You want it to appear in every other time frame, but not in H1. Hmm? Then you can do it like this and press OK. You can see it disappear from H1. But if you go to other time frame like H4, you see the trend line. Okay. But you can also make it in the visualization to show in all time frames. While it also shows in all time frames, you can also come to probably mark it off in any time frame that you want, or maybe while it appears on all time frames, you can also put a description. Let me say you write this represents the H4 time frame, so that when you hover over it, you will know on the particular time frame you drew a particular trend line while you allow it to appear in all time frames. You click on OK. Whenever you hover on this, OK, Okay, let us get it done. Properties. Okay, virtual time frame. Let us copy this and paste this here. Press OK. Whenever you hover on it, you see that it appears as H4 time frame, while it can also appear on other time frame as description for this particular trend line. Same thing also applies to horizontal lines that we use to draw support and resistance. You can see this is whenever we put this and we see that the nodes appear from end to end, we know that it is selected, just like the trend line. We know that it is selected, and so we double click it, it is now deselected and we cannot do anything. But because we want to do something on it, we'll select it and then I'll right click, we can see the properties and then we can even change the value. Let us say, for example, those who want to be trading round numbers, from here you can make it 000, and so if you click, you see that it gets to that very round number. Mm? So when it is selected, you can also drag it back and forth. So let us have it at this particular resistance area, but in 13600. So go to trend line properties and make it 13600 as round number. Then on the visualization, we'll also want to see or make it to appear either in all time frame or on selected time frames. Then we can also make a description of it, and we can even also change colors. Can make it white, and then we can even make it to be a dotted line, but when it is only when it is at the tiniest line. When it is thicker, then we cannot make it to be a dotted line. So it also applies to these other vertical lines. It also appears to vertical lines. The nodes appear, and so we can right click and make some needed adjustments to our text and describe, make it thicker or dotted. In this case, we want to have this dotted. The parameters, we can check for the ray is already on ray, and then and even change the dates we want it to appear, and the time even, and change that and you see it appearing, and then when you do OK, you see it appears. So if we also want to delete any of this, what we have to do is we right click and delete just that particular one, or we can delete all selected. When we know that all is selected, it is because of this node that we can see from end to end of these tools. You can see the nodes, they are all selected, but if you delete, it is just that particular one we select that we can delete. So when all of these also are selected, we can hit the delete button on our screen and all the selected will disappear on the chart. Another tool we want to consider is a crosshair. It is a very useful tool that we use on chart for uh, currency or any price trading, the financial market trading. And if you watch very well, you will see that it shows some pieces of information. The very first is the price 1.151. That's the current uh, price where it is now. It's like a click and drag tool, which shows the vertical line showing the dates and the current time where it is selected, and the horizontal that shows the current price on the right hand side of your screen. So on this very crosshair, the 1.15155 is the current price, just like we said earlier. And then the 10 bars, which is the second, shows the number of candlesticks covered from the very first place that we clicked and dragged to where it is currently, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candlesticks. That shows 10 bars on the street. Now the third is a 513 points, which is one we also call pips. So that represents 51 pips, 3 pipettes. 51 pips, 3 pipettes. And then from the very place that we selected to this very place, it is minus 0.44%. And if we happen to go up, we can see that the percentage increases 0.24%. For example, here is 0.24, above is a plus 0.24. This goes up for a positive or for a negative movement, showing the number of percentage, either for a profit or for a loss. So on this particular crosshair, if you have a mouse that when it is on cursor, it can, when you scroll, it can move back and forth. Then the scroll button is also clickable. If your mouse scroll button is clickable, when you click on the scroll button that moves this back and forth, on clicking it, you see that the crosshair appears. I'm going to this very pane to select crosshair. So you can easily click on the scroll button and use it. Now this crosshair is used in such a way that let us say that price made a drop, made a base, another drop. Then in order to consider the number of pips that you want to risk on this, then with the crosshair, you can say, okay, from here to here, I want to risk 35 pips. I want to risk 35 pips from here to here. Then we can easily use this crosshair to know the level of risk we are taking and the potential profits we want to make, which is 100 and about 150 pips against the against the 35 pips. So it is a core tool that is used in trading. You cannot do without this most of the time, or else you'll be engaging in many calculations that you may not want to be doing, which will waste most of your time. Another thing that I would like to show you is in customizing our charts, and that is under properties. We want to show period separator so that we know on the day we are currently trading on, or on the week or on the month we are currently trading on. Not that we cannot know, but with these period separators, it also makes it easier. So with this, you can see how its previews on this pane. So click on OK. You see this shows the beginning of the week on H4. This is the number of 4 hours that we can find in a week. So this is the beginning of the week, and this is the closure of the week. This is the beginning, and this is the closure of the week. And so if we happen to go to H1, it shows us the number of hours that we can find in one day. So this is the open of the day, and this is the close of the day. Open of the day, close of the day. Open of the day, close of the day. So these period separators helps in showing us the open and close of either the day, the week, the month, the hour, and so on and so forth. On this very day, it shows us the number of days in a month, the number of trading days. So this is where the month opens, and this is where it closed. So with these serial separators, is in a way helps for us to make a quick view on where we are in the stream of time. The next that I want to show you is how to add indicators to our chart. So if you click on insert, then you go to indicators, and here this from this demarcation shows the currently used indicators, the currently used indicators. So but now we want to add like a moving average. We go to trend to look for a moving average. On clicking that, you see this moving average box comes out. So you can change the period. Is this a 10 or a 13 period? depends. You can also add a shift or maybe leave the shift at zero. Wherever you can make it either a simple or an exponential moving average or squared linear weight. We leave it at exponential. Mostly it is applied to a close. And you can also apply it to an open, high, low, median price, typical price, and weight close. It all depends on the uh, what and how you are using it for. Then we want to change this very red to tomato, our tomato. Now we can decide to either tick in the line or allow it to remain as tiny as it is. In this case, one is taking it one step upwards. So here you can add the levels. You can add many of these levels. Then here we don't want to add any level as well as the color, the visualization. You want it to show in all time frame or show in data window, whichever one. Then, but mostly we are concentrating on this. You can click OK and you see the moving average applied on your chart. That is how to add an indicator, for example. Apart from this very indicator, there is other indicators that one may also add, like oscillator. Oscillator. Let us, for example, add a MACD moving average. The same thing applies. Leave it at 12, leave it for a close, the red. We can maybe take in this a little bit, show exponential moving average at a 26. Allow the levels to be scale. Okay, we do not have to adjust anything here, the visualization all time frames. And when you click on OK, you'll see the MACD moving average below on the charts. Here you can adjust the pane up or down. You can adjust it up or down. Then on this particular moving average, when you double click on it, then you can make any adjustments to it. Mm. Apart from that, you can also go right click on the chart and then go to indicator list. On this indicator list, this moving average, if you click, you can go to properties, bringing out what we double click to see. Apart from that, we can as well, when selected, delete the moving average. The same thing also applies to MACD. But in this case, we are not going to delete any. It's just for the purpose of showing you how it works. So we'll allow it at that. And so on this moving average, we want to see a way of adding more to it. Go to indicator list. Then we can go to moving average properties. We can add some levels. Okay, well, let us not add to this. We can add a different moving average anyway. We can add different moving average. It's like another moving average. We can then change the parameters from period 13, for example, to period 50, and then see allow it as exponential close, no shift, and then visualization the same thing, left the same thing. Click on OK. Okay, let us try to make a difference by adding a different color to this so that to help us to make a difference and then add a bit thickness to it. See, you can add as many uh, moving average as possible. Then on this very MACD, on the parameters, you can allow it to be the same thing. Then on the levels, we can add different levels to it. Let us say we can add a 50 and 0 level. We can describe it as a weight. Mm, can add that. Then we can also add another, say, 20. You can say, describe it by saying, for example, buy. Mm? Then can also add another. Let me say 90, and we can say this is sell. Just for the purpose of giving an example, when you click OK, you see how it is applied. Oh, it did not appear anyway. I'm not a fan of moving averages or sorry indicators. Not being a fan of indicators. These are the ways anyway that it can be adjusted right. Okay, instead of this very level, you can maybe adjust the scale either for a fixed minimum or a fixed maximum. Then on clicking OK, then you can use your MACD. Hmm? All right, this is to show you how to manipulate this or to make customizations on them for those who use these particular tools. All right, there are many other things important that I would like to show you. Just like we said earlier, we can go to indicators lists for us to be able to delete either of these indicators. And just like this MACD, we can from here get the properties, but not properties this time. I'll click on it, then we can delete that particular one and you see it go away from chart. Then the same thing applies to the moving average on this. On clicking it, we delete, you see that moving average lifts the chart immediately. The same way we can also insert indicators. If we go to indicators, for example, we can go to oscillators and we also have a relative strength index. You can see the period 14 applies to a close, the Dodger blue, go to the levels here, we can add as different levels as possible. Let us say, for example, as we tried doing on MACD that did not work. Here, we can add other levels and add another level. We can make this 100. Then we can call this a base weight. That time, we can call it a base weight. Just like that. Then this one can be maybe the price is too low. Then you want to buy. Or maybe this one price is too high and then you want to sell. So if you click on OK, you can see how it appears. This buy, this wait, and 100 should be for sell. So this is how it is. This is how it is. All right. So well, this time I want to remove every indicator. I want to remove every indicator, leaving just the main chart. All right, there is also another thing that I would like to show you, but this time is how to install indicator, not just how to add indicator to charts, how to install and install indicator. So in order for us to do that, you have to go to File, Open Data Folder. If you open this particular data folder, this is what you will see. Then you can see some files contained in these folders. Which one do we want to go for? And go into MQL5. Inside these MQL5s, there you can see experts, files, images, include indicators, libraries, and so on and so forth. So for us to add indicators, this is where we'll get that added. For example, you can see many indicators here, many indicators. Just take note of them. Just take note of them. And then apart from these indicators here, we will want to add our own indicators among these. So for us to add our indicators here, for example, let me go to the desktop and go to test. Under this test, I have some indicators here. Let me copy these indicators for example. I want to copy all and paste inside this data folder. And paste inside this data folder. Okay, it got us start from beginning. So let us copying it to go to file, go to open data folder, and then when it opens, we go to MQL5. When it opens, we go to indicators, open the example folder, and then add or paste the indicator that we copied. We can paste the indicators inside here. You can see them appear. This meter, days of the week. You see this one, currency symbol, candle time, and all that. Supply and demand, show pips. So when we do this, what do we do? This is where it is located. This is where it's located. After doing this, what we'll do is just to close this data folder. So on adding this particular indicators to our data folder, the next thing we'll do, there are two ways it can be done. It is either you shut down your Metatrader for, or you go to navigator window and go to indicators. When you open it, you go to okay, for example, this is the place where we added most of the indicator, but if you check very well, you cannot see either of them. So first option is for you to refresh this particular uh, navigator. So in order for us to refresh, we'll go to this indicator and right click, then we can see refresh. On refreshing this particular indicators folder, then the indicators that we added supposed to appear inside. But when they do not appear, the next option is for you to shut down this MT4 and then reopen it again. Let us see if they truly appeared under trend. Or is it under examples rather? The ones that we added. So as they did not appear, we want to shut down the MC4 and reopen it again. So when they do not appear, you happen to see that there is a problem in the coding, or maybe you are using an indicator for MT4 that's for MT5, or you are interchanging MT5 for MT4. It may not work. So that is why it is not showing here. But we'll get to this also. Maybe the codes are not working proper. So, but there is a way of installing indicators. So after that, we have to close down by the use of this. So for us to see the and apply the indicators that we installed, we can go to indicators and it can be found in custom indicators. It can be found in custom indicators. Let us say, for example, what we installed is is okay. Let us choose fractals. Let's allow the colors to be the way it is, and then we'll put okay. It will be a fractals. And then there is another that we installed, and that should be moving average. For example, apply to a close exponential. Okay, now it happens to be like this. So in every single chart that we open, just like these other ones that are still like this, we wouldn't want to be applying every single indicator or every single customization that we made on them for them to work. But on this very one that we have prepared, what we will do is to right click and go to templates. Mm. Then what we have to do is the way we install the indicators is the way if we have any templates, that is the way we'll also have to install the templates. But if it is templates, what we have to do is to load the templates. It can also be among these other ones here when it is loaded for the first time. But now we just customize these indicators, and what we want to do is to save them as a template. That is why we have save here as a template. So what we have to name this particular one now is, for example, synergy as a template. Hmm? So whenever it is saved, if we should move to a new chart, instead of customizing one after the other, what we'll have to do is go to templates, load templates, which is this synergy. All the settings applies to this. The same thing also applies to this. If we come to this, we'll right click, go to templates, and load the settings, the customizations, and they all will apply to the new chart. Okay, for example, we can also, for example, let us make a change in this um, chart by inserting another indicators. For example, let us go to oscillator. Let us go to oscillators and then add a relative strength index. Okay, let us have it like this, a relative strength index. Now, we want to save this particular one not as a synergy, but synergy squad. You just save the particular one as synergy squad. Want to achieve something by this synergy squad. Okay, and we'll save it. So if we go to templates by right clicking, now we have synergy and synergy squad. So now this particular template that we added something to, we can make it instead of switching to this particular one and add loading templates, switch to this and load templates. What we have to do now is, as we are here, we want to save this particular template, but this time not as synergy squad. Want to save it as default. Saving it as default, the system will have to know that this is default. So instead of loading a plain chart, it will have to load the default. So pick it as a default and load it on chart. I'm saving this. Let us see how it works. After saving it, we'll have to minimize all the charts. Let's say, for example, minimize all of them. Let us get them all minimized. And now, want to add a new chart. Want to add a new chart. So let's say, for example, uh, gold and dollar, SAU USD. Want to add it. So immediately we add it. You see that that particular uh, default that we added, the system will have to pick it as a default because it now sees it as default to apply to your chart. So you don't have to begin to go to load the template again, but it picks that very default and customize the chart as it is bringing any new chart to your screen. So this happens to be the first part of MetaTrader for navigation. We have to look out for the second part. I will walk you through other features of a MetaTrader platform. And so you watch out for the second part.